Alright guys, welcome back to another video. It's your man Jay. I'm going to try to keep this as brief as possible, but I want to talk about, and I want to answer your question about the MotoGPower. Should you buy this if you have the G7 power or the G7? So crank the volume up here. So I got the brightness at full on both of these. Now this is a question that so many people have asked, and I didn't really think it would be an issue, but a lot of people have. So let's jump into this real quick. I loaded up something here before we get going. I bought the UAG Scout Series case here for the Moto G Power, but through Best Buy it's listed as the Moto G8 Power, when it in fact is the exact one from the UAG website. They have it listed wrong on Best Buy from what I understand. And so as you can see, I got this for $15.99. There's a coupon code that you'll need to use, and you'll need to type it in exactly like this: 20, the number 20, and then spell out the words %off. Kind of strange, but it's like they have that hidden away from the public. But I did buy the UAG Scout case. I think it's a Scout Series case. And I wanted to share that at the beginning of this video because a lot of you guys are asking me about cases. Jay, did you find a case? Or did you find a case? There are a lot of cases on eBay and Amazon, but I decided to go with that UAG case because I got it for $15.99. So that being said, should you upgrade to, or should you, I guess I'll call it an upgrade. Should you upgrade or buy the Moto G Power if you have the Moto G7 Power or the Moto G7? So the short answer and quick answer is no, you shouldn't. You should not buy it if in fact you don't need to, or your phone isn't broken like mine. Now you guys know the story behind this. This is just clear tape on here. I broke this phone over a year ago when I first bought the phone, and since the front didn't shatter, I decided to go ahead and just put some clear tape on it and keep using it, and it's done me well over the last 15 months, however long I've had the phone. But outside of that, the design of the devices. Let's get into some reasons why I feel like you probably should. But let me say, this is just my personal opinion. You don't have to agree with this. Keep your Moto G7 Power if it's not broken, folks. But if you're in the market and you just want it, you're curious about the G Power. I keep wanting to say G8, the G Power. Again, I got this in Google Fi for 199 bucks. Totally recommended at this point. But if you're in the market for a new phone and you have the G7 Power, the G7 already, the G8 Power is definitely an upgrade. The cameras are better, in my humble opinion. I've taken some photos. I really like what I saw as far as photos go. I think that I took some photos I took a couple photos right here in the office, and the G8 Power did a heck of a lot better with the front camera than I thought it would, because I used the G7 back in the day for a lot of my live streams, and maybe I'll switch over to using the G8 or the G Power if in fact I think it's good enough for video. But for video, I haven't tested those yet. But photos, the G Power definitely is better than the G7, and possibly the G7 Power too, on the front and the rear. So that's the reason. Form factor, it's a little bit taller and it feels a little bit more narrow, but you know, it could just be me. This is a 6.4 inch display, and this is a 6.3. This has obviously that newer design. No more Motorola along the bottom of the phone like this one, G7, but it's still got, it's not like the ultra thin bezels that you see on some other phones, but it's not huge bezels. So you got the newer screen design on here, meaning you got the camera in the screen to the left instead of the center right here on the Moto with the little drop down there. So that's a reason. You have stereo speakers on here. This is another huge reason why I would recommend it. The speakers on this phone are simply incredible. They sound just flat out amazing. Let me turn this brightness down. I want it to look decent on there for you. I think it looks pretty good all the way bright. I never run phones at full brightness, but and speaking of brightness, you know, if I had the same wallpaper on here, I prefer the screen on the Moto G Power, not because it might be a little brighter, or you know, the colors actually look really good on here, but again, I don't have the same wallpaper on here. But I like looking at the front of this device opposed to looking at the G7 after all this time, because I'm used to this little camera cut out on the side over there. But other than that, folks, I mean, I just think the design of this one, you get the newer design. You get the fingerprint reader in the back there on both, but you got that little circle camera there, and you got the newer design here. And I think that's cool. What limits this version of the MotoGPower getting from Google Fi is that it only comes in black. And then the stylus comes in blue. And I think those might be the only colors that you can actually get these two phones in. But overall, though, the feel in hand is really, really solid. Now, one of the main reasons I would tell a person to buy this phone over the G7 is the battery. The G7 in no way touches the battery life on the G Power, and I don't know about the G7 Power. I've heard people say that the G7 Power has almost as good battery as this particular device, the G Power, but in fact, it's not reaching 15 hours and 3 days on a single charge. That is just flat out incredible, man. I mean, just incredible. Let's see where, just for kicks right here, 40 minutes, 9 hours since the last charge. Okay. That's really good. So, and I'm at 94%. The battery life, whoa, it will shock you if you decide to pick this up. It is that good, folks. This is a fantastic phone for battery. Literally, and I know if I got 3 days, and some people say, oh, you didn't really use it. Yeah, I did. I mean, I have a life outside of putting up these videos for you guys. I mean, believe it or not, I really do. So me getting 15 hours in 3 days, think about that. I was on this phone for almost a full day. You know, that's crazy. Or half a day, pretty much, a little over half a day. That's a lot of time to be on your phone. You shouldn't be on your phone that much, really. But this phone handled 15 and a half hours of screen on time in 3 days. That's stellar battery for a smartphone today. And I think that's just a little bit of hate and a little bit of envy and jealousy all in the same run, because why wouldn't you want a phone that you can get 3 days out of a single charge and 15 and a half hours of screen on time? And I actually got a little bit more than that, but I didn't put it in the video because it ran down to 4% and it actually kept going. So, roughly 16 hours in 3 days off of a charge. That's no phone is doing that, man. You're going to need a phone. There was some guy who commented and said his phone has a 10,000 milliamp hour battery. He could barely get to that. So optimization is key. And performance on here has been great. I don't see any difference in performance, really. Someone said, oh, it's lagging, it's stuttering. When it comes to performance, it's just going to come down to, what you're doing on your phone. Ultimately, that's what it is. And this phone has a Snapdragon 665 in it, folks. It's not going to be the speedy powerhouse. None of that. It's not going to do that. So, it's not going to be the slowest phone either, though. So you need to take note of that. This is a powerhouse device. It's a really nice phone for the price. I mean, $250, $199 to $250, folks. This is a giveaway from Motorola. Motorola has always, obviously I've had Motorola phones, a ton of them, right? But Motorola is known for giving you value. Wake up, folks. I mean, some of you guys wouldn't know a good phone if it slapped you right on the forehead, because some of you guys are so focused on having the latest and what they tell you is the fastest and most powerful processor instead of getting back to real life. And that is the people that this phone is technically for. Those who don't want to spend a lot of money on a device, who want great cameras, great battery, great speakers, great screen, great performance, and can do the basics that all of you guys do. That's why they're lined up right here in the center of my phone. YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Those are like the basics of today's world. I know there's other programs like Snapchat and Facebook and all that, but basically people do these three basics. Most people do. So on that note, should you buy the G Power if you have the G7 Power or the Moto G7? If your phone is broken, like mine was broken, or if you're in need of a new phone and you don't have a Moto G7 or G7 Power, you're just needing a new phone that's not going to break your pockets, folks. This is the one. This is the one. This is fantastic. A combination of a great smartphone from a really good company with all the things that's going to suit your needs and keep your pockets full to buy something else like groceries, gas, pay your rent, all those other things. $200, folks, this is a steal. Don't listen to the people out there that tell you, you need to skip that, man. It's laggy. It's going to break down. It's not going to get updates. Don't listen to those people. Here to bring you the truth the best way I know how. I'm not saying I'm right, but I definitely recommend this phone. And if you don't like it, you're not losing much at all. It's your man Jay. Hope you guys enjoy. Take care.